Angel Reese? She quit. She didn't walk off injured. She didn't get pulled for medical reasons. She didn't even throw a fit on the sidelines. She quit mid-season, mid-pressure, mid-expectation, under the thin veil of a very convenient back injury. And look, we're not here to question real pain. Athletes push their bodies to the brink. That's part of the job. But what Reese did wasn't about her spine. It was about her stance. This wasn't an injury. This was a statement.
If you're here for the real story and not the filtered version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe.
But here's the kicker. No one's buying it. And that's where things get ugly. Let's rewind. Coming off a half-game suspension, already the talk of the league, Angel Reese walks into the arena like she's starring in the season finale of Keeping Up with the Controversies. Warm-up gear on, camera ready, strutting with a massive back brace strapped over her sweatshirt like she's auditioning for WWE. Medically cleared, refusing to play, visibly fine in pre-game stretches. And then, she limps off the court like she's carrying the weight of betrayal on her shoulders and gets subbed out permanently. Girl, what are we doing? This isn't a protest. This isn't activism. This isn't protecting your peace. This is drama for the sake of attention, and it reeks of entitlement. Because here's the reality. Angel Reese has had the keys to the kingdom. Fame, endorsements, social media clout, and a league that, desperately, wants to turn her into the next face of women's basketball. She had the chance to lead, to inspire, to elevate the game. And instead, she threw a tantrum. Let's call it what it is. Angel Reese spit the dummy out. She didn't like how things were going. Didn't like the minutes. Didn't like the internal structure. Maybe didn't like that her star was dimming a bit compared to others in the spotlight. So she pulled the emergency cord labeled injury and walked out. But unlike the spotlight, accountability doesn't go away when you limp off. This wasn't bravery. This wasn't courage. This was a performance. A well-rehearsed, self-serving moment of rebellion designed not to send a message to the organization, but to control the narrative online. And it backfired. Because even the fans who usually ride for Reese were watching this unfold like, wait, what? The visible brace. The refusal to play. The post-game silence. It all just felt calculated. Like someone staging a walkout, not for change, but for clout. Now here's where the criticism sharpens. Reese wasn't just disrespecting her team. She disrespected the entire league. Every player on that court is battling for attention, for recognition, for long-term investment. These women are grinding for a league that still has to prove itself every single season. And Reese? She hijacked the narrative, made it about herself, turned a regular season game into the Angel Show, co-starring drama, resentment, and strategic victimhood. While her teammates were hustling to win, she was busy staging a storyline. It's one thing to disagree with management. That's fair. It's another to manipulate optics and throw your team under the bus because you don't like the view from the bench. Because let's be clear, this wasn't just about injury. It was about control. Reese wanted to flip the script. Shift from benched for attitude to injured and misunderstood. She wanted sympathy. She wanted headlines. She wanted to reclaim power by weaponizing narrative. But here's the thing about narratives. They only work when the audience believes them. And the audience didn't. Because we've seen Angel Reese at her best. We've seen her dominate on the court. We've seen her command attention with authenticity. We know what it looks like when she's locked in, focused, and fighting for her team. But this version? This was someone prioritizing pride over professionalism. And honestly, it's exhausting. The WNBA has enough battles to fight. Visibility, equal pay, media coverage, audience engagement. The last thing it needs is one of its brightest stars torching the locker room from the inside out. This whole saga wasn't rebellious. It wasn't revolutionary. It was reckless. And what's worse, it's opened the door for all the wrong conversations. The trolls, the skeptics, the misogynists waiting for a reason to say women's sports are too emotional. Thanks to this stunt, they feel validated. That's the collateral damage Reese didn't think about when she decided to treat the season like a TikTok storyline. Now look, we want characters in this league. We want storylines. But they have to be rooted in sportsmanship, in truth, not in spectacle. Because right now, Angel Reese is at risk of being remembered not as a future legend, but as a walking headline, a soap opera character in a league full of real hoopers. And that's a waste of talent, a waste of momentum, a waste of the platform she worked so hard to build. If Angel Reese wanted to make a statement, she should have made it on the court. She should have dropped 25 points, grabbed 12 rebounds, and then stared down the cameras. Instead, she chose optics over action. And you don't win championships or respect that way. So what happens next? That's on her. She can come back. She can own it. She can apologize to her teammates, recommit to the grind, and show everyone why she was ever considered the next big thing. Or she can double down, keep spinning, keep staging, and slowly become the WNBA's cautionary tale. Because in this league, talent gets you attention, but character, that's what earns you a legacy. So, Angel, what's it going to be? The star or the storyline? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should the league hold her accountable? Did she go too far? Or is this just the chaos modern sports we're always headed toward? And don't forget to subscribe, because in this league, the ball's in play, but the drama, that's always in overtime. See, Angel Reese didn't just make a bad call. She made the call. The kind that defines a career. The kind that follows you long after the cameras stop rolling. Because here's the harsh truth. There's a difference between having a brand and becoming a walking PR disaster. And Angel, she's teetering right on that line. Let's go deeper. You know what made Angel Reese special back in college? It wasn't just her numbers. It was her attitude, that unapologetic confidence, the grit. The I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to win energy. She was magnetic. Polarizing, sure, but real. She brought flavor to a game that desperately needed it. She was the storyline, but she backed it up, and that's the key difference. Because now, it's all performance and no payoff. You can't show up to a game with a visible medical prop, knowing full well you're under a microscope, and then pretend it's all above board. That's not sending a message. That's attention-seeking dressed up in protest. And look, we get it. There's pressure. The spotlight is brutal. Everyone's watching, waiting, judging. But that's the gig. You can't demand the spotlight and then play victim when it gets too hot. You can't be the it girl when it's convenient and then ghost your responsibilities when things get uncomfortable. Leadership is not a vibe. It's a choice. And Angel Reese, she chose chaos. Now let's talk about her team. Because this stunt didn't just reflect badly on her. It dragged the whole Chicago sky into the mud. While the rest of the roster is trying to lock down playoff positioning, fix rotations, and build chemistry, they've got to deal with the fallout of a teammate turning the season into an Instagram story arc. What do you even say in that locker room? How do you rally when one of your supposed stars just checked out mid-game? On purpose. This isn't just an internal matter. This is a trust breach. A line was crossed. And when you do that in a professional sports setting, the room changes. You're not just the loud one anymore. You're the one they can't rely on. You're the one who might make the next game about you instead of the win. And that's fatal in a team sport. But maybe the most damning part? This didn't have to happen. If Reese had an issue with coaching, with minutes, with treatment from the organization, there are ways to handle that. Talk to the front office. Speak to the media like a pro. Air your grievances in a press conference with poise and clarity. Be strategic. Be smart. Be a professional. But what did she do instead? A theatrical exit. A mystery injury. Silence on the bench. A poor me performance with just enough ambiguity to let the media run wild, while she said nothing. That's not protest. That's manipulation. And the damage isn't just short-term. It's long-term, career-shaping stuff. Because you know who's watching this? Every other team in the league. Front offices, agents, coaches, sponsors, everyone who might have been thinking, we could build around her. Now, they're thinking, can we trust her? Because if she's willing to walk out on her team once, what's stopping her from doing it again when the going gets tough? If she can't handle internal conflict without turning it into a public meltdown, is she really the future franchise player everyone hoped she'd be? These are the questions circling now. And she put them there. Let's not forget the WNBA is still growing, still fighting for its place in the mainstream. The league needs leaders, not just scorers, not just personalities. Leaders, players who can bring the smoke and still show up the next day ready to practice, ready to build. Players who can be dramatic and dependable, loud and loyal. Right now, Angel Reese is just loud. And that matters. Because no one, not fans, not teammates, not sponsors, is signing up for a player who might storm off at halftime because she didn't like the rotation. This isn't LSU anymore. This isn't college. This is a business. And businesses don't bet on instability. So let's be honest. Reese isn't a victim here. She's not a martyr. She's not fighting injustice. She's making herself the center of gravity in a league that should be orbiting around the game. And it's exhausting. Because for every minute we spend talking about her fake injury and her media games, we're not talking about the players who are actually balling out. The ones dropping double-doubles with no fanfare. The ones mentoring rookies. The ones showing up every night, no back brace, no drama, just work. And yeah, maybe those players aren't on magazine covers. Maybe they're not trending, but they're building something real. Legacy. Reese still has time to do that. She's young, talented, magnetic, but she needs to decide. Does she want to be a player that fans rally behind, or a headline generator with no substance behind the story? Because right now, she's giving main character energy with no plot. So here's the part where we hold up the mirror. Angel, if you're reading this, hear it clearly. You're better than this. You are, but you've got to be better. Not for the cameras, not for the brand deals, not even for the league, for yourself. Because at the end of the day, when all the drama fades and the headlines scroll away, it's just you and the game. And the game? It doesn't care about theatrics. It rewards consistency. So get back to work. Apologize. Reset. Play the game. Because legacy isn't made in walkouts. It's made in walkbacks. It's made when you take the hard route. When you fix what you broke. When you show up and ball. Even when the narrative is stacked against you. That's what real stars do. And you could still be one. But only if you want it more than the attention. And for the rest of us, fans, viewers, skeptics, supporters, keep watching. Because if Angel Reese turns this around, it'll be one hell of a redemption arc. If she doesn't, well, the next meltdown is already loading. Angel Reese isn't the villain, but she's starting to look like one. And worse, she's writing that role herself. Let's be crystal clear. No one is denying her impact. No one's pretending she isn't talented. She helped put LSU women's basketball on the map. She brought attitude, flair, and that viral magic that makes people pay attention. And in a sport that's constantly begging for headlines, that matters. But now the headlines have gone sour. Now the shine has turned into shadow. And instead of owning it, instead of stepping back, reassessing, showing humility, growing, Reese doubled down. With a back brace, over a sweatshirt, on the bench, looking like she was trying to get a sympathy vote on Dancing with the Stars. That's not grit. That's not protest. That's pageantry. And the fans? They're not stupid. They watched. They cringed. They asked, is this what the league is about now? And that question right there, that's the real damage. Not the injury. Not the minutes she sat out. The doubt she planted in people's heads about the league's professionalism, its seriousness, its credibility. Because here's what Angel forgot. The WNBA is still in prove-it mode. It's fighting for every sponsor, every dollar, every primetime slot. It's been clawing for respect in a world that still side-eyes women's sports every chance it gets. And she gave that world a meme. She handed the critics everything they needed on a silver platter. Look at them, they'll say. Too dramatic. Can't handle adversity. Can't play like pros. Of course it's not true. Of course most players are grinding every damn night with zero drama. But optics? They're brutal. One viral walkout overshadows 10 hard-fought wins. One diva moment cancels out a month of team effort. And Angel Reese made herself the main character of that moment. Now here's the part no one wants to talk about. She wanted the drama. Don't let the back brace fool you. Don't let the silence from her camp trick you into thinking this was accidental. This wasn't a misstep. This was a calculated spectacle. A show. A message. A flex. The problem? Nobody clapped. Even her most loyal fans have gone quiet. The let her cook crowd? They dipped. The media that once championed her every step? They're hedging. And you know why? Because everyone knows what this was. It wasn't leadership. It wasn't strategy. It wasn't protest. It was a meltdown, one disguised in athletic tape and attitude. And where's the accountability? Where's the tweet? The statement? My bad. I let emotions get the best of me. Nowhere. Just silence. Cold, curated silence while the fire she lit burns through the team. You think the locker room's okay? You think the Chicago Sky players are just cool with it? Absolutely not. Even if no one's going public, the tension is there. In the huddles. In practice. In every side glance and forced smile. This isn't just a bad look, it's a fracture. And fractures break teams. This isn't college, where everyone rallies around the star because they have to. This is the WNBA. These are grown women. Professionals. Veterans. Champions. They don't have to tolerate immaturity. And if they think you're hurting the culture, they'll isolate you. Quietly. Quickly. Completely. That's where Angel's headed. And the worst part? She's better than this. She could have handled it all differently. The minutes, the benching, the frustration, it's all normal. Every player goes through it. But what defines greatness isn't how you act when things are going your way. It's how you respond when they're not. You don't get to pick your story's challenges. You only get to pick how you respond to them. Angel chose to pout, to posture, to play the victim. And it's hurting her more than anyone else. Because make no mistake, this league moves fast. New stars are rising. New stories are unfolding. And fans are fickle. If Angel doesn't course correct, soon, she won't be the face of the future. She'll be a what could have been. She'll go from headlines to cautionary tale. From brand deals to bench warmer. From must-see TV to a footnote in someone else's highlight reel. And it won't be because she lacked talent. It'll be because she refused to get out of her own way. So what's the redemption arc look like? It starts with honesty. Admit you were wrong. On the moment. Rejoin the team. Talk to the media. Not through cryptic tweets or IG captions, but like a pro. Then, work, grind, play. Let your game be the story again. Not the brace. Not the walkout. Not the drama. Because as much as the public loves chaos, you know what they love more? A comeback. There's still time. There's still talent. But there is not unlimited patience. Angel Reese has one foot in the door of superstardom. The other? It's hovering over the exit. The next move is hers. And this time, she better mean it. Because the league will keep moving with or without her. The fans will find new favorites. The team will replace distractions with contributors. So what's it going to be, Angel? The spotlight or the substance? The drama or the discipline? The viral moment or the legacy? You can't have both. Choose wisely. And to everyone else watching, refreshing your feeds, and wondering what wild moment is coming next, keep your eyes up, because if we've learned anything this season, it's that in the W, the real game often happens off the court. And trust me, we'll be here for every last play. Don't forget to subscribe, because this isn't the end. It's just the intermission. And it hurts to say, it really does, because Angel Reese was right there. She had it. The momentum, the moment, the marketability. She had the rare kind of cultural currency that leagues dream of, where your name alone draws attention, sells tickets, starts conversations. But instead of doubling down on the grind, on the game, she chose the storyline. She chose the stunt. She chose to fake a crisis for a headline. And now, she's not elevating the WNBA. She's pulling it into the mud. Let's be honest. Every league has drama. Drama is inevitable. It even helps when it's real. Rivalries? We love it. Trash talk? Bring it on. Ejections? If they're earned? Go viral, queen. But what Angel did wasn't real conflict. It wasn't heat-of-the-moment passion. It was calculated spectacle dressed up as protest, served cold, with just enough mystery to get people talking and just enough detachment to deny responsibility. And in doing so, she disrespected the game, the fans, the players who don't have shoe deals or media machines or brand managers running interference on Twitter. Because while she was staging her injury, others were putting in the work. While she was ghosting her teammates on the bench, others were fighting for minutes, for playoff position, for respect. It's not just that Angel acted out. It's that she did it knowing she wouldn't be held to the same standard. And that, right there, is the fatal flaw. Because when players start believing they're above the team, above the league, above the structure, it's only a matter of time before they crash. Not because they're hated, but because they become impossible to root for. And once the crowd turns on you, once your teammates start side-eyeing your hustle, once your own locker room starts asking, "What's her agenda?" you don't just lose games. You lose everything. Angel Reese doesn't need another photo shoot. She doesn't need another ESPN panel debating what this means. She needs to get in the gym. She needs to play. With urgency. With humility. With that fire she used to bring before it all turned into curated chaos. There's still a future for her in this league, but the window is closing fast. And if she keeps choosing performance over professionalism, then Angel Reese won't just be a player with potential. She'll be the cautionary tale every rookie hears on day one. Let that sink in, because in the WNBA, drama might sell, but only winners get remembered. So what's it going to be? Drama queen or dynasty? We're watching.